Today I am talking with designer Olivia Hathaway. See, it used to be that if you wanted a one-of-a-kind, unique clothing item, you pretty much had to be a size 6 and order something couture, right? But now, thanks to online services and online stores, people like designer Olivia Hathaway can put their artwork out there, and you as a plus size person can order something that's just as unique and just as interesting as a couture piece. So that's what we're talking about today. All of these items are available on CowCow, which for some styles goes up to 5X. That's fantastic, because then you can customize exactly the kind of artwork you want to represent and wear in exactly your size that fits. And after this live video is over, I will be dropping in links to the description to all of Olivia's stuff. Hi, Olivia.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Great.
Where are you located? Where are you talking to me from?
I'm at my apartment on it's close to my college campus in Charlottesville.
Oh, Charlottesville in North Carolina?
Virginia.
Oh, Virginia. Okay. Ooh, nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
I found you on Twitter because you are a designer who has artwork at CowCow, at, I think, Redbubble, ThreadUp. I don't even know, like a whole bunch of places, which is fantastic. Can you tell me a little bit about like how you came to be a designer or what your journey has been?
Yeah, sure. So it all started out with Redbubble because that's like the easiest one to do like uploading and such on. They have the easiest site uploader, and I had some art that I had already made, and it was easy enough as just scanning it into the computer, and then I run it through the photo editor on my phone to fix the colors because the scanner kind of washes it out a little. And then, yeah, I just put it back through, and then that's how I would upload onto sites. And then my journey with CowCow began actually like last spring when I was staying with my grandmother in Florida, and while we were there, she said something about like she loves my art and she loves the stores I have. She's one of my biggest patrons, so shout out to my grandmother, thank you. But she and my mom both have this issue where they don't like clothes that don't have sleeves, and all of my stores prior to that only had sleeveless dresses, sleeveless shirts, and they didn't like the style of that. They wanted to buy my clothes, but they didn't want to show their shoulders. So my mom was at the point where she's like, well, maybe I could buy one of the sleeveless dresses and then I could wear a shirt under it. And my grandmother finally said something. She's like, I really wish that there was a way that you could have like a store that has long sleeve dresses. So I sat down on my laptop. I was like, somebody has to make this. So I Googled it, and I was like, store where I can sell my own prints on long sleeve dresses, and CowCow came up. And within that week, I had uploaded like all 300 some of my designs, because I do both my photography and my drawings, and I've uploaded all of those, and I had them all on there for her, and she ordered a dress before I even left like my 2 weeks being there with her, and she had gotten a button one because she's a chemo patient, so she needed something that can access the port on her chest for when she does doctor's appointments. And there's something called the CowCow boho button-up maxi dress that she found, so she ordered one of those in her size, and it came in lovely quality, great material. It's all like high quality stuff. Yeah.
I've seen some in person, and then I follow several people on Instagram who frequently buy from there, and I have to tell you, the amount, the variety of items, even just the variety of dresses, is a little overwhelming.
They have, I think, over 1,200 items now, and they add stuff all the time, because it used to be 1,152, and then I came back the other day, it was over 1,200. So they just keep adding more things. So like, if you think that they don't have it now, maybe give it a month and come back.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible.
That's fantastic. So how does it feel as a designer when, do you get emails or do you get DMs or, from people saying like, thank you so much?
Well, like, I'm always excited when I get a sale, because it used to be that CowCow didn't always notify me when I did, so then I'd like look at my stuff and I'd be like, oh my god, I sold something, yay, and I'd be really happy. But like now they have, I think that they just had like a glitch or something, and they tend to email me whenever I make sales now. Most of them, of course, are to my grandmother, but she like buys all of her Christmas gifts on my CowCow site and gives those out to her friends, because her friends like my art too, so it's like, hey, it's great. And I have occasionally gotten people who are like, wow, I really like this, thank you. And then they send me messages. And every now and again, a friend of mine will be like, I like this, but except, like, I always tell people, if you like one of my designs, but you want it in like a different color scheme or something like that, tell me, because I have my photo editor app on my phone, and I can take anything that I've scanned up to my computer and like start tweaking the colors and stuff. So like, yeah, it's pretty neat, because like I have a whole album called Electric Field Art Designs, which I use a program that I learned in math.
That's one of my favorites of yours, like the color blocks.
Yeah, and the fun thing about those is I can make those in any color. So if you see the print and you're like, oh, it's in blue, but I'd like it in red, just basically just message me somehow through any of my social medias, and like I can make it red, have it uploaded in a couple of seconds. It'll be great.
Wow. That's incredible, because then it's almost like, or because you can totally customize your size, totally customize your design. It is like ordering couture almost.
Yeah, I really love the industry. I think it's a lot of fun. And because I have all my designs uploaded, it's also passive income at this point. So I'll just be sitting here like in my apartment or something. I'll get a notification. It's like, Redbubble, you sold a sticker today. You sold a artboard. And I'm like, oh, great. Because like it's not a whole lot of money up front, but like it adds up over time. So I'll be like, made $3 just sitting here doing my math homework. Great.
I know. I actually sell digital products on Etsy.
Cool.
Same kind of thing, you know, you make it once, you put it up there, and I was just looking, in this year, I think I'm going to make $500, which is, you know, like this outrageous amount, but I didn't do anything. It's like, I uploaded it like 2 years ago, and there it is. It's crazy.
Yeah, like if you ever make it big someday, you could end up with 1 million sales, and then you're a millionaire or whatever. So like there's no downside to leaving it up there.
Yeah, exactly. Your designs are very different, very eclectic. Like you're not all mod, or you're not all impressionist. How do you find your inspirations, or what makes you create a design?
Well, I always say that like my specialty is flowers and abstract botanicals in particular. I'm gonna tip my laptop up real quick. There's like one paper above me on the wall, which is one that I drew. Like it's not great resolution on the screen, but it's one of the ones that I recently uploaded online as well. It's called Brick Wall Flower Pot in Color. That's the title of it, and I have it on Redbubble and all of these other places. But that's what I tend to draw. Like abstract flowers tend to be the thing that I think to draw, and I sit down and there's like a different variety of them. Like the shirt I'm wearing is actually from CowCow right now. It's called, the design on it is called Trippy Forest.
Ooh, I like it.
I really like this pattern myself. I have a pair of shorts in it as well, so that I can wear with this. So that's also from CowCow. But yeah, so my specialty is drawing like abstract botanical patterns, but I love flowers in general, and I always have. So when you look in my photography section, like the biggest folder or category, it says is flowers. So it's like all these flower prints and such. And unfortunately, CowCow doesn't let me do this. Redbubble's the only one that lets me make them into repeating patterns. But if I could get them as like repeating patterns, that would be really neat. I need to look up and see if I can get software to do that.
You mean for the photo?
Yeah, so when I take the photos, Redbubble will let me upload it, and I can hit like repeat, and it'll let me do off center or grid style, and then I can just repeat the image over and over again through their uploader. But CowCow doesn't let me do that, so it just uploads it however it's going to upload it, and then I pick out what I think looks good, and that's what I tend to post on my Instagram and all my other social medias. There's like a deal with CowCow that and I guess this is sort of a buyer beware kind of thing from the design point of view. It gives you 4 boxes to upload your design to, and it's front, back, sides, and straps, I think. And you put in whatever image you want to go on those. And of course, because I'm doing mostly all over prints, I upload the same image for all of them. But then since it's uploading to 1,200 products, I can't individually look at each one of them and make sure like the pattern is sitting on it the way that I want it to. So I tend to upload everything all at once, and then I pick out what I think looks the best to advertise. So when you're looking through, definitely look at the pattern on the shirt, because you might be like, wow, that looks genuinely terrible on that cut of clothing. But there might be 200 items otherwise that look really great with it, but like there's no way for me to sort it out. So
that's interesting, because I have seen a lot of designs that do repeat, but so the designer, you must, as a designer, if you wanted that to happen, I guess you would have to do it in the graphics ahead of time.
Yeah, I have to make if I wanted to upload a repeating pattern to Redbubble, I would have to make it repeating and then upload it. Redbubble is the only one I know that has like an embedded thing in the site where you can upload one image and then you can click it and it will make it into a repeating pattern for you, which, that's one of the great things about that. But Redbubble lets me do like 60-some products. I have 1,200 for each design on CowCow. So like it's all about, I guess, strike a balance of what you want. I always tell people if there's something in specific that you want, just message me through any social media site. I can tell you what I have and what sizes and what products and what the designs look like and special characteristics of each. I've helped a couple of people get stores set up on Redbubble and other places as well, because it was a learning curve when I started it. She had to figure out how to resize images and how to get everything to set up right. And because it started like with my Redbubble, I just had like tiny squares that had my images on like the middle of the shirts because I couldn't figure out how to make them all over prints. Generally terrible, but I figured out how to fix it.
Yeah, I was sitting here thinking, so for instance, when I go to CowCow, the search, like I don't even know where to begin. And so when you say that, it makes me think like the best way to do it is probably to go straight to the artist page and then message them and say like, this is the kind of thing I want. What do you have? And what do you think?
Well, I definitely, for one thing, for figuring out where to go for stuff, I would recommend people visiting, like, for me personally, my Instagram account, and the handle for that is at OKHisMakingArt, because I have a lot of information on there. It's like, it's a small app, it's a small page, but it's information heavy as far as my art stores go, because for one thing, I have that link in my bio that takes you to all of my stores if you want to go directly to them. But there's also, like, the little story repeat things at the top, and one of them tells you, it's called keywords, and if you click it, it'll tell you what keywords you can search on any site to find my stuff specifically, because I have 3 tags that I tag every one of my designs with. So it's like OKH is Making Art is one of them, Olivia Hathaway, no space, my first and last name, and then OH Artistic Oddities, which is the name of my Etsy store, but I tag everything with that as well in case people know me from Etsy. And then that way, if you search that, it'll pull up my designs, and if you search one of those plus the name of one of my designs, it'll guarantee that just those designs will come up on that, like on those patterns and stuff. And I even have it set up on CowCow so that I tag all of my designs with the colors that they're in, or the colors that they have in them. So if you want to buy something, you know that you want something from me, but you want it in red and you're not sure what you want, you just put in Olivia Hathaway red, and it'll come up and it'll show you all my designs that have red in it and on different products. And then you can use the tab on the left, I think, yeah, the left when you're looking at the screen, and you can click apparel, and then it'll sort it down further and further, dresses, clothes, shoes, and then it just goes deeper and deeper, and she hit dresses, and then it's like midi dresses, maxi dresses, mini skirts, and it's like, which one do you want there? And then it'll show you by like the individual name of each of the pieces, so you can narrow it down. It just takes knowing where all that stuff is.
Yeah, I love that you have something like that for people. It's like genius marketing, because you're right, then you're helping people find your stuff. You're taking almost like taking the middleman and all the frustration out of it. Is there an item that CowCow offers that's like your favorite item for people to get your stuff on?
Well, I'll say that one thing that I've sold the most of, and that's really interesting of all things, are umbrellas. And I actually have one of mine with me right now. Like, you can't see it's like super well because of how close I am to the camera. It's in my favorite rose pattern design, and I have pictures of it on my Instagram somewhere and all that. And if anyone wanted to see it, I could pull it up from my laptop and send it to somebody. But I end up like selling a lot of those just because umbrellas are something that you don't really think about having. It's just sort of like this utilitarian thing that you carry around with you. But now you can get like these very, very special, like different styles of them on CowCow, and they're relatively cheap for what they are, and they're very, very good quality. Like this one, it's got this little button. I don't know if you can see here. And when you open it, you just take the strap off, the Velcro strap to open it, and when you press that button, it immediately flips the umbrella open, and there's like no struggle with trying to undo it and all of that stuff. So my grandmother ordered a bunch of those for Christmas for people this year. So I mean, if any of them are watching this, top secret, you're getting an umbrella for Christmas. But
that was genius of her. That is a great gift.
Yeah, so she really likes that, and I like them because they do each panel with the design, so when it's like divided up into 8, it comes out as a sort of fractal thing, so it knits the pattern together really well. And like I'm always very proud to show my umbrellas to people and all that. That's like sometimes my mom and I will just like sit down and like, do you want to look at my umbrellas on CowCow? And we're like, yeah. So we just go and scroll through because the patterns just come out so neat on them, especially the electric field ones. Like look up electric field art umbrella on a CowCow sometime, and it'll pull up all of my stuff because I'm the only one who has those titles for designs. But like they look amazing. Like I wish everything looked like that. Like they could take that print and also put it on the clothes too. But like there's a million different things that the electric field art looks good on because they're more of an all over print kind of thing anyway.
Yeah, I really like the color combinations you use in the electric field art designs.
Thank you.
Like pink and green, that's like one of my fave combos, like in anything.
Gotcha.
So that looks great. Like the blues, yeah, I really like that design. That is genius. That's one of the things I like about CowCow, because especially when it comes to gift giving, but definitely when it comes to shopping for myself, I really don't like buying artistic things or tchotchke things that just are. I like buying things that are practical, that have a function, and CowCow like perfectly marries the two things, like you said, like the umbrella or a pillow or a bag or the clothing. Yeah, I mean, I love that. Like I would rather buy a dress of yours and wear it out and have people comment on it and tell them all about it than to hang a painting on the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. Like, I love wearable art for one thing too, because I'm known for my weird clothes. I always have been. So this was like the next step was making my own weird clothes. So like nobody was surprised when like I did this over the summer and I got everything together. I was like, maybe I should just try and make some passive income from my art. And then I ended up expanding over time, and now I have like 18 print on demand stores, which is why I have that link tree so that you can get to everything. So there's no way I can give people 18 links at a time. It's just not practical. And I also put that link tree link on my business cards when I give them out to people, because if I ever change what sites I'm on, then that link is still active and it still works. So my business cards never go out of date. But
yeah, that's smart. That's really smart. And plus, by offering all those stores to people, like for instance, my daughter is always on Redbubble. Then they can go to their favorite store and still find your stuff. Like they're not stuck shopping at a store that, I don't know, that they might not have, enjoy as much or something.
Yeah, and I did like mainly for the variety, because there's like different stuff on every site.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like I have two stores. I've got Redbubble and I've got TeePublic. They're owned by the same company. They have different stuff. Why would you not just make them one? I don't know. Like, I don't get that at all. But like, I have a sweatshirt that has a rose on it that I got from TeePublic, and they don't offer that anywhere on Redbubble. So I'm just like, okay, whatever you're doing with that. But all right, I'll put on both stores, just whatever. TeePublic is more like centered towards like logo designs on shirts and stuff, or like that you would do just graphics that have transparent backgrounds, whereas Redbubble you can do more all over prints than you normally would, but it also has stuff that you would do like logos on and such. So like there's a slight difference in like the way that you do it, but there's different ones because I consider like CowCow one of my all over print sites, and then there's other ones like Rage On is also an all over print site that I have. That's worth looking at. It goes to 6XL. It doesn't have a huge variety of stuff, but it goes up to 6XL, and their stuff runs really, really large. So if you're like, you're 6XL and then you think that maybe you need an 8XL, you can probably still order it in a 6XL, because my grandmother bought a hoodie from them one time, and she's like about the same size as me, and she's like, I want to get it in a medium because I want it to like be baggy and keep me warm. Well, she got it, and when it came to her, like she could pull up her knees and put like her whole body in the thing. It was so large on her. So like even if you think that maybe you're not quite like in the size range for their stuff, just remember that things run slightly large, and not to the same extent CowCow does as well. Like this is a large on me, and like the shoulders are a little bit loose, but otherwise it fits me perfectly. If you like put your faith in the size chart, it usually doesn't steer you wrong, and everything tends to come slightly larger than it does in the size chart, because my mom was actually trying to buy an outfit from CowCow for something that she wanted to do that had one of my designs on it. And when she looked at it, it only came in a 2XL for that particular item. And like by the size chart, she thought that she was going to be like a little bit like 2 inches outside the range of the 2XL on some of the measurements. But we ordered it anyway. And then when it came to her, it was like kind of really big in the shoulders. So she had to get it like taken in and stuff. So like it was still came in a little larger. So if you find something that's like slightly outside of your size range, it might be worth the risk to go ahead and order it because it runs a little large in the first place.
That's good to know. How do they wash up like in the laundry?
Oh, they're perfect. Machine washable. This has gone through the laundry multiple times, hasn't faded a bit. It says on their website that they use a unique heat sublimation process to get the dye in, I guess, to dye all of the clothing. I find it very interesting because I can tell the difference by feeling it, whether or not like they printed it on with water-based ink or they printed it on with something. And this is very much in the fabric. Like it's not sitting on top of the fabric. It's the actual print of it. So there's
like a tattoo, the fabric.
Yeah, so it's like high-end clothing. It's not like a cheap t-shirt that you got printed from somewhere, like that just has the design on the outside. It's very much part of the shirt itself, which is why it goes through the wash so well.
Yeah. I have to ask because you also list on your Twitter bio that you're a biochemist. Is that right?
That's what I'm studying for at my university right now. And I had a research job as a hydroponics researcher in high school. So.
Whoa. So this is what you do. This is like your passion on the side, and like you said, some extra passive income.
Yeah, so like I've always been an artist, and everyone's always known me from my art in like my hometown and such, because the things, like I said, you said that my stuff is kind of unique. Well, people tend to recognize what I've drawn, and I've shown in a couple of like galleries around town and such. But like I've always loved science as well. So like not to I was the valedictorian in my high school, no bragging there. But like so like I've always been into science. I was one of like our first perfect scores on the chemistry exam at my like high school and all that. So like I've got these two things. I really love to draw and I really love science. And when I thought about like what degree I was going to get at college, I was like, people will trust an unlicensed artist, but will not trust an unlicensed scientist. So that's how I chose which one I was going to do for like an actual college degree. And it's like, no one will believe me if I say I've had years of experience in science. I've been doing it completely on my own. No one's going to take me for that. But if I tell people, I was like, yeah, I've got this massive art portfolio that I can show you that I can do this. Then if I want an art career, I can still get that. But this leaves my both options open that way. And I still have my like side art career right now with this whole thing going on with my print-on-demand stores. So,
you are crazy smart.
Thank you.
I wish I had been as smart as you at your age.
Sometimes I wish I'm a little smarter or a little dumber, depending on the situation.
I hear you. I think that's fantastic. And, you know, what we're doing right now didn't exist even 10 years ago. So who knows in 5 years, 10 years, what's going to be happening in the world that you might be able to marry both of those things.
Yeah, it's an incredible process. I read like a lot of like the origin stories of the sites that I sell on, and they're like, we Googled because we thought someone must do this, and then no one did it, so we started a business doing it. And that's what I just thought was really neat, because like if you have anybody in like your group who's really into making their own costumes and stuff like that, Spoonflower is one of those places that lets me design my own raw fabric. So like if you ever want like the fabric itself and you want to make the dress, you can also order like raw fabric of independent designers on that website, which is really neat.
Yes, I have a lot of maker friends, and that brings up another point is I love your design. Ask me, what is
ask me how talented my friends are? That's like the newest one that I've got, yeah.
I love that. So do you have friends who are makers too?
Yes, I have a bunch of friends who are incredibly talented in a bunch of different areas. I have my friend Alyssa, she's a writer. My friend Savannah, she's an animator and a very talented one. She's got this whole series called Flock going on. It's about like I think it's inspired by West Side Story and such like that. No, it's The Outsiders. I forgot. Like it's all of that 1950s gang culture kind of stuff. But it's like two rival gangs of like cartoon birds. I don't know like the entire thing behind it, but she has like posters out for it and she's working on it actively. It's so proud of her because she's fantastic. And then I have other friends who are artists. Like my friend Victoria is a brilliant watercolor painter, and she's about to have like a big exhibition in January in this like high-end gallery, I think in like an elderly community, something like that. So I guess all the art patrons are. Fingers crossed for her that somebody's like, wow, I want to give you all this money so that you can continue making water. Yeah. But yeah, I've got friends who are writers and scientists and like really great sports players and all of this stuff. And just like everybody I know seems to have some kind of really incredible talent. And I'm always proud and happy to talk about how great my friends are to everybody.
Well, I love that. I'm going to end up ordering one because I feel like you do. I have so many friends who are so talented that I end up like, recommending them to people all the time. So a shirt like that would be totally perfect.
Oh, yeah, because I just came up with that because at college, I don't know a whole lot of people here, having been only here for like a semester or so. So when I talk to people, like I always end up talking about my friends from high school. I'm like, yeah, and like Andrew and Savannah and all of these people. It's like, they're all so talented and we blah, 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 did all of this stuff. And I was like, I just talk about my old friends all the time. So like at this point, I just need a shirt that's like, ask me how great my friends are because I'm going to tell you anyway.
So you're not from Virginia originally?
I am. I just decided I live 40 minutes from my actual hometown. So like I can go back and forth. So I can go see my lovely and wonderful friends, which I tend to do like every weekend because I miss them. So
I know. I remember though, when you're in college, even that 40 minutes is like a world away because you're so busy and so caught up in everything you're doing.
Yeah, I'm always trying to rush to get my homework done so that I'm clear by Friday, like Saturday. And then they post some assignments on Saturday and Sunday nights, which like I'm ready to take an active protest against. I'm like, my weekends are not your time.
Right.
So yeah, they'll set like there's something that they always have like 3 assignments due on Sunday night, and there's stuff that get posted Saturday. I'm like, I don't know why you think that you have any claim to my time once I leave this university, like for the weekend. Like, no, no thanks.
That's terrible. I'm taking a look at some of my questions here. Oh, what advice would you give to other artists who are just starting out?
Well, I'd say for sure
have this pretty well figured out.
Yeah, which is why I help a lot of people set up their stores when they get ready. Like my friend Ethan, he has a Redbubble that's coming out too. I think his like username for that, shout out to him, is like Shagadelic or something like that. He does a lot of like really trippy designs, and I didn't even realize that he was an artist until he posted that he had a store the one day, and we're like, oh, okay. And he does like the stuff with like the hippie van buses and all the trippy stuff around it. But when he was doing it, he's like, well, I'm gonna have to find another place to do wall tapestries because they're not working on here. I was like, oh, that's because you need to get this image resizer for Windows, and you have to resize all of your images to 13,500 and then by 11,462, and that's the size that will enable all images on all products. So like but it doesn't really say that anywhere unless you go really far in depth trying to figure it out, which I did for like a whole summer because again I had all these tiny squares on things and they didn't look good, and I was trying to figure out how to make them fit all of the products. So I would definitely say if you're starting to set up a store and you know someone who already has one, definitely talk to them about it because they've probably gone through all of the hoops and jumped through all of this stuff. And of course, you can always message me. Like if you're watching this, you're like, I want to do that. Message me through my social media. I'll show you how to get everything set up. Redbubble's a really easy one to start with because once you have it in that specific size, the 13500 by 11462, it will upload to all products and it will cover them all completely. Like it might run outside the boundaries of where you want it to, so you can adjust it back and forth. But that uploads them to 60 products or like 63, 65 products all at once. And you can look through each of them and you can click on them to move where the pattern is or to edit it. So it gives you a lot of control with that. And it also lets you make them into repeating patterns, either grid style or offset grid, so that you have them going different ways. And then all you have to do at the bottom is you put in a description, your tags, and you decide if you want them to go in any albums, and then you post it. So Redbubble is one of the easiest ones to upload, the easiest ones to organize, and then the easiest one to link to other things. And you can also do a lot of mass management with them, because originally I didn't have my name tagged with any of my designs, and my friends would search my name on Redbubble, and they have this unfortunate thing where it's like, we didn't find any designs like this, and it'll show, oops, nothing found, but then they're like tiny print at the bottom, like, but we did find a designer with this name. Or like, I'm looking for the designer. I was like, why on earth would you just assume? And I was like, so I figured that they would always have my name tagged with it, but they didn't. So I then went through the mass manager that they had to add my 3 special tags that I have like on my Instagram keyword account to everything that I have. So now if you search Olivia Hathaway, OH Artistic Oddities, or OK Ages Making Art, all of my designs will come up. And that's how it is for every site now, I think, because I went in and I added all of those keywords back in after I realized that they wouldn't just pull up my name if they searched the name of the designer.
Yeah. That's nice that they have that bulk editing kind of feature so that you're not going into every single one and changing them. Weesh.
Yeah, it's one of the only sites that has that kind of bulk editor, which is why I definitely recommend starting with that, because it's like, if you make a massive level mistake, it doesn't take a huge long time to fix it.
Right. So pretty much when you, like, do you even go shopping? Because you can pretty much make your own clothes now.
I say I'm always love clothes, and I'm like a big thrift store person, so I always end up at Goodwill with my friends and such, and going around the various Goodwills, because I know where they are for like 5 different towns around us, and we're like just like Goodwill hopping basically. So like I love thrift stores and I love clothes. My closet is like, funny story, I'm so into fashion and clothing that the bar ripped out of my closet twice because I had too much clothing hanging on it. So I had to switch it to drawers where I roll them up, and I just have stackable drawers now, because I try to be minimalist sometimes. I really can't be with clothes at this point. I just love clothing too much. I make a lot of clothes. I buy a lot of clothes. I wear a lot of stuff that I make. I wear a lot of stuff that I get printed from my print-on-demand stores, like this shirt. The shirt that I have sitting on my dresser planned for tomorrow is one that I did a linoleum block print on some t-shirt material, cut it out, and then sewed it onto a sweatshirt. So like I make, it's like, it's all about it. Like, and I like to buy my friends' clothing and stuff as well. Like I have a t-shirt for my friend Savannah, like I was talking about, her show Flock. She did one where she put her design on it, and then all of the funding from those designs went to helping the families who were affected by border separation. So I bought one of her t-shirts, and I have that, wear it proudly. I love it. So I get to support her stuff as well as also supporting the charity that she was going for at that time.
That is excellent. Yeah, I did notice also in your Twitter feed that you are a little bit of a social activist. So I really admire that about you.
And to say, yeah, CowCow is based in Hong Kong, so that's pretty close to the things that are happening right now. I can't stand what they're doing to all of those people. And I'm going to say, I think that the United States should be taking some sort of intervention in that for a country that claims to defend democracy. But I understand why we don't, because of the trade relationships. However, so I guess, I mean, on a superficial level, that's another thing you should say about CowCow. There might be more delays than usual in shipping right now, considering that entire city is basically under war at the moment. Yeah. So like, order something from there. Like, another thing that you should think about in general, like even in peacetime with CowCow, is that they have this disclaimer. It's like, it takes us about 6 to 12 days to make each of these products, and then there's an additional shipping time after that. So like, you shouldn't be concerned if your item doesn't come for like at the end of 3 weeks, you should probably contact the company and be like, hey, is it on its way, blah, blah, blah. But I always tell my friends, because they'll get concerned about it if they order something and then it doesn't come for a really long time. It's like, my experience with CowCow is that it takes a long time to get there, but it will always arrive. Like, I've never had an order not arrive from CowCow, and I've never had it not be high quality. So like, I'm very much behind that, but like, people start to get antsy after that 12-day period. I'm like, man, they might not even be finished making it yet. So,
yeah, Amazon kind of spoiled all of it.
Yeah, everybody's like the whole, same day shipping, 1 day shipping, but sometimes it's worth it to wait a little while longer. Like, I ordered this umbrella in the middle of the spring when there's barely any rain happening, and now I use it in the winter where if it rains, it's kind of a crisis because it's cold. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So just order ahead. Like, whenever I tell people Christmas gifts, I'm like, if you want a Christmas gift and you want it to be ready like by December, you should order it now.
Yeah, that is excellent advice. Your grandmother can tell them too, right?
Yeah, and she already ordered hers like way back in the past, because she knows about that 3-week lead time, but I guess she gave them like a 3-month lead time at this point, and it was fine. So she should probably already have all of her stuff. I think I looked at it one line and it's like that she'd ordered like 8 umbrellas or something. I was like, that is a lot of umbrellas. But to say, yeah, I appreciate her support of my business. She's been one of my biggest supporters as far as art goes, because she keeps my business cards on her and gives them out to friends and people who compliment her outfits. And she talks to people about it all the time. Like when I went down there to stay with her for 2 weeks, I had dinner with her friends at this special club that they were part of. And they're all like, I've seen your designs. And they wanted to talk to me about it. And I showed them a link tree. And of course, because they're not exactly tech savvy people, being older generation, they think that the whole link tree thing is like amazing, that you can just click one link and then you can go to all my stores. I'm like, that's incredible. How did you do that? I'm like, I didn't code this. This is a free service that I use. But it's like, but I did find it and it does work.
Yeah, it does, definitely, especially for someplace like Instagram that gives you one clickable link.
Yeah, that's the whole reason that they started that thing. It's like, here's how to make one link into many. And I actually picked that up from like looking at other designers' Instagrams. I was like, wow, all of these people have this link that starts with Linktree. And I Googled it and then I found out what it was. I was like, I can use this. Because I used to have business cards that just had like 6 hyperlinks typed on them. I'm like, that's not convenient.
Right.
Like that doesn't really help anyone.
No. Are there other designers that you admire?
Yeah, there's a lot of people I watch on Instagram as far as the design goes. There's one guy, I think he's out in the UK. Let me look up his like actual username real quick while I have my phone right here next to me, because I think I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's like Seifu Illustration or something like that. But he does these like wacky sort of like food monster animals, abstract stuff, and I love it. So I bought like 2 of his shirts one time, and one of them is one that just says weird across it with all of these like rainbow color swirls around it. I love it so much. Let me see if I can find him. Illustration. Yeah, I think his name is Saif Chowdhury or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but his like Instagram handle is at SAIF Illustration, and he does all these weird things. Let me see. Since I have my Instagram here, I'll just turn it to the camera. Like that's one of the things. Strange food monsters and all that. Let me see if I can scroll through and see the one that I bought. I bought this print as a shirt on like a yellow shirt.
Oh, cute. Oh, those are cute.
Yeah, I like his style.
It kind of reminds me of some of those Mad Magazine illustrations.
Yeah, that's kind of it as well. And there's one person who I can't remember like their Instagram handle because I see it all the time. It starts with a W, but it's like WZ. Ah, here it is. She does amazing floral prints. It's WZORY. It's WZORYOZDOBNE. She's a Russian artist, so I'm sure that that's a name that I just don't know how to pronounce. But like she does these beautiful floral prints, and I think some of them are watercolors, some of them are pen, but like this is one of them.
Oh, nice.
And being a person who personally like absolutely loves floral prints, I'm like all about her and all of the stuff that she does there. Assuming that this is a woman for some reason, I'm just assuming that. But yeah, so I love their Instagram accounts, and every time I see them, like, I want to do things like that. It says her name is Margaret, so yes, this is a woman who does plant patterns. She says she's a textile and pattern designer, so that's really
nice.
Yeah.
Do you worry about your designs being stolen or copied?
Every now and again I do, because like at least in the United States you retain the right to your original copyright. So like you can tell what date I posted these things, and someone's like, that's mine, and I'm like, funny, I have this entire like thing drawn out and hung on my wall, so I don't think you really can. So if I really wanted to like sue the crap out of somebody in the United States for doing something like that, I could. And like the most likely thing to happen is like to have your design stolen by the Russians that don't respect US copyright laws, and then but like they have a limited market for selling that, because what are they even going to do with mine? They were going to sell it on the same site as my stuff, and are they going to have like the advertising power that I have right now because I've already had my site and been advertising it for so long? Like no one's going to buy like their bootleg product versus mine, because they're going to be selling it in almost the same market. So like it doesn't really help them. I don't know why they would try to steal that if they wanted to. Like some of my stuff I have watermarked on different sites and stuff like that, but I like talk to other artists, and everyone just agrees kind of like the price of being an artist is the risk that some of your stuff will be stolen, but it's not worth not making art just so that your art won't be stolen. So like, you got to keep making art. And of course, I think I thought about getting a bunch of stuff like officially copyrighted, but you don't really need to in the US because you retain your original copyright. And I haven't seen any instances of anyone actually stealing any of my designs before. And because I'm a small-time artist, it's not like somebody's trying to like counterfeit me like a Louis Vuitton bag or anything like that. I was like, why would you bother?
You'll be surprised. I actually interviewed someone several weeks ago. She does, I think she's under Quasar Creations on Instagram. She's an indie fashion designer, and she found someone in China who had taken her designs, which are, she custom makes all of her dresses for people, and they had taken her designs and like really crappy material, really crappy stitching, and they were selling them on eBay for like $20 or something. So she had to go through a whole big thing. And she said someone had sent her a message or she would have never known. I agree with you. I think it's super, super rare.
Yeah,
I have friends who, they're photographers or they're artists or whatever. And so once in a while, they'll find somebody who's copied their stuff. And usually if they send a cease and desist, the person's like, okay, and they take it down. But
like,
yeah, you're right. It's the price of being an artist.
Yeah, like if I caught somebody doing that, I would probably send them like a message like, hey, stop using my design without my permission, look into legal action if they didn't. There's not always a whole lot you can do for like China and overseas stuff. I'm actually in an ethics of piracy class right now. So we're talking about the piracy of music, designs, all that kind of stuff. And we're talking about how copyright law differs throughout the world. And for one thing, like China doesn't recognize a patent on something unless you filed it in China first. So if you have a US thing that you want to sell in China, you like technically should like patent it in China and then patent it in the US. Otherwise, like they won't take any action against it being counterfeited, and like if you try to bring action against it, they'll like sue you back because they're like, you didn't put it here first anyway, so you don't really have the right to sell this here. And I was like, okay, so like half the time you can't do stuff against like because you don't know what everyone's copyright laws are in the world, so it's basically not worth fighting anyone outside the Western world if they steal your designs beyond sending a cease and desist, or I'll take legal action to scare them. But that's all I do for it. And it's not like anyone wouldn't know the difference because I tell people about the quality of my sites. I'm like, CowCow's really good quality. Redbubble I found is very good quality. And if I haven't ordered from there before, I'm like, I'll tell you I don't know whether or not it is or it isn't at this point. But if somebody found something of mine like on really crappy stitching and products, they'd probably be like, yeah, it's probably not one of hers because she wouldn't like it like that.
Right. Yeah. Well, Olivia, thank you so much for joining us today. This has just been delightful, and I so appreciate you coming on here to talk about your design. A lot of artists, they don't want to go on video. They don't want to talk about this process or share their secrets or whatever, so I really appreciate you coming.
I love the opportunity. Thank you. I love doing interviews and talking to people because the great thing about art is that it's like an infinite market. So you're not always competing with other artists because the person who's making abstract botanical works like me isn't exactly competing with somebody who's making Art Deco stuff. So there's as much room for artists. There's a market for it. Everyone's always going to be out there looking for their perfect thing. So there's infinite room for other artists to join the field without decreasing your sales. It's not like every time someone gets a new Redbubble store, I see profit decreases or something like that. There's no need to be that competitive about it.
No, and if you like abstract flowers, they're going to want more than one you know what I mean? Yeah. Like they're going to want a bunch of it, so it doesn't really matter.
Say, get a brand loyalty going.
Right. Well, thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate it. And everybody, like I said, I will have links to all this stuff that we talked about, all the Instagrams, the link tree, so that you can find everything that we've been chatting about. Olivia, thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.